Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Underground. This is the Intel update for September 15th through the 21st, 2024. So let's get right to it. There have been a lot of things happen this week. It's been very busy, but unfortunately I'm going to have to be a little bit quick today. I'm kind of running out of time today, so let's go ahead and go through the Southeast region. So starting off in Kentucky, those of you who have been kind of on the lookout for the fugitive situation, it has reached a conclusion. The body, which has subsequently been identified as Joseph Couch, was discovered in Daniel Boone National Forest. So that situation has reached a conclusion. So it took a few days to identify him due to some wildlife sort of making that situation a little bit difficult. But he has been identified, at least local authorities claim, so that situation has reached a conclusion. Again, very little information on it since he is deceased. We're probably not going to get a whole lot more fidelity on how or why that situation developed in the first place. Moving over to Virginia, there was an explosion on board or adjacent to a U.S. Coast Guard vessel. Really not a whole lot of information on this one. A couple of coasties were injured at the Coast Guard Training Center, Yorktown, so there's really not much more to it than that. I guess we'll find out maybe at some point in time what caused an explosion, what routine maintenance could possibly cause an explosion. Again, working around ships, even small craft, are very dangerous. It's a very dangerous job. So it could be innocent, it could be a mistake, it could really be anything. So I don't want to speculate too much on that. Moving on to Florida, of course, as you guys have probably been inundated by now, there was another Trump assassination attempt down in Florida at a golf course. So again, the would-be shooter has been identified as Ryan Wesley Ruth, or Routh. I highly suspect that it is actually pronounced Ruth due to some typo errors that I have found in my search with regards to this person. However, anyway, I'll probably have to cover that at another time if it becomes more pertinent. Again, shooter staged at the southeast corner of the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach and attempted to take some shots at Trump. He was not successful in getting any rounds off. He was stopped by the Secret Service, who engaged him prior to his targeting being any sort of successful. So again, the media blitz on this has been rather extensive, so it's up really for you to decide what's true or not. More strategically, when we get some of these incidents that you really can't nail down a whole lot of details on, really you have to kind of take a step back and look at things more strategically, and this is the second legitimate, genuine sniping attack on Trump. Even though it was not successful, I consider this to be a legitimate assassination attempt. So again, if there have already been two, it would not be out of the question, I think, for there to probably be more. So again, this is going to be something to watch out for. There's absolutely nothing you can do as a citizenry to kind of prepare for the global instability that may result from something like this happening again. Really, you can just be as prepared as you can for a general situation. So again, don't want to get into it too much. I know there's already been a lot of conjecture on it already, so I'll let my thoughts in the wire kind of stand on that, but I did want to mention it because this is very, very important and highlights how important things are becoming this election season. Moving over to the Midwestern region, the East Central Midwestern region this time, there was a fire in Columbus, Ohio, pretty substantial industrial fire at a auto shredding facility in Columbus, pretty big facility. I think it's still on fire as of recording of this. I'm not sure if they actually have succeeded in putting it out, but multi-alarm fire, you guys know how it goes. So again, another reminder of innocent accidents can happen all the time. Nefarious stuff can be implicated or insinuated a lot of times, but again, your more everyday emergencies are something to definitely be on the lookout for this season. Moving down to the Southwest, again, another more substantial event that I wish I could get more in the weeds on, but I know that things can get a little controversial when we just don't have a whole lot of information. So here's what we know. We know that at least half a dozen people who were participants of Trump's rally in Tucson, Arizona last Thursday have been medically treated. Some have been admitted to the hospital for eye problems, eye pain, blindness in some cases, grittiness sensation in their eyes, varying symptoms like this immediately after Trump's event. All of the people who are reportedly experiencing medical issues were seated in the exact same area on stage to Trump's right. So Again, this is a kind of incident where we just don't have a whole lot of information. The U.S. Secret Service has not provided any statement that they're even investigating this. The Trump campaign we're hearing things through the grapevine, but no direct statement, to my knowledge, has been made by the Trump campaign specifically regarding this incident. It's all just hearsay, right? Somebody who told somebody else that, the Trump campaign's aware of this. So, again, I wanted to highlight this because I don't think it's an unreasonable assessment to believe that Trump rallies, Trump events, anything to do with Trump is a risky endeavor for the average citizenry who may wish to attend. I don't want to discourage anyone or say, hey, don't go to Trump's rallies or anything. Certainly don't want to do that. However, the risks are extreme, right? We've already had one sniping attack, which actually killed people at Trump's rally. We've already had another shooting sniping incident that mirrors a lot of the same Secret Service deficiencies as before, and now we've got potentially an event like this. So again, this is all speculation. This is purely opinion. I have no proof of any of this, but I do have two theories regarding what this may have been. I'm sharing this purely with the goal of trying to get to the bottom of this. This is what an ongoing investigation looks like. None of this is certain. Anyway, the symptoms that these people are exhibiting are really familiar to me. So as soon as I heard about eye problems at an event where the Secret Service is going to be, one of my initial thoughts was this might be the culprit. This, for those of you who are not into firearms culture, this is an infrared weapons laser. It is exceptionally commonly used by Secret Service personnel, all kinds of authorities, even local police departments are in some jurisdictions, I think, getting on board the IR laser train. For those of you who are into firearms culture, into shooting at night and things like that, you probably know where I'm going with this. But for those of you who are a little bit unfamiliar, let me explain briefly. This is a PEQ 15, PEQ 15, PEQ 15 knockoff. This is not a real one, obviously, because I'm poor. So this is a cheap Chinese clone, but it works the same with dubious quality. But anyway, same, right? So what you can do with these is on the top here, or on some rifles, depending on how you have things set up, just for simplicity's sake, on the top here, you push the button, laser beam comes out, right? Now, this variant and real ones as well, they have a visible laser beam, green laser, right? But they also have an infrared version, which obviously if I were to click it on, you're not going to be able to see it. So it's going to be invisible to the human eye, but under night vision you can see it. Now, why does this matter with regards to this incident? Well, again, some of you probably have already figured out where I'm going. There is a reason why these are regulated. I disagree strongly with it. I have talked about it in the past. However, these things can blind you very, very quickly. So if you've got a rifle and you've got this mounted on the rifle because you want to leave it mounted all the time, right, so that it's zeroed, and you don't have the safety cover on like that, and you point the thing at your own face and it activates, you could literally blind yourself because the laser beam is infrared. It will still damage your eyesight. The visible version, if you're going to laser yourself, that it's going to blind you, right? That's why all of these devices come with safety caps. So here's my schizo theory. It is possible that a Secret Service agent or somebody at this venue accidentally, I'll show you using the visible laser here, it's possible that they accidentally had their safety cap off and double tapped their button on their rifle, and now you can see that sucker is stuck on. Okay, that's why we have these safety caps, so that you push the safety cap over it so that you can't see the infrared beam, so you don't know that you're getting blinded by it. So the characteristics these guys, the symptoms they were exhibiting, are very much in line with an infrared laser beam injury. Now, most civilian grade lasers are very underwhelming. So when it comes to like the things that the feds can buy, that can definitely blind you. Did this occur? I don't know. All I have is conjecture. All I have is my crazy harebrained theories. So in theory, if somebody had one of these, either in the audience or all mounted on a Secret Service rifle, and they went through and they took their safety cap off and they were glassing everyone in the crowd. You see where we're going with this? It would be a very easy thing to do. Now, in terms of what's even worse than this, these guys were injured pretty badly. In terms of what's worse than this, they could have done it with an ISLID too, which is the same thing, but it's not meant for targeting. It's meant for, it's like a big Maglite flashlight that you can, it's like an IR illuminator. So again, we're getting way down in the weeds here, but I did want to show that there is probably a pretty good explanation for this that would probably not be super popular for the authorities to kind of confess to, if you know what I mean. If a Secret Service agent was an idiot, or some local authority was an idiot, left their IR laser on with the safety cap off, and set their rifle down, you know, to glass the crowd with binoculars, then they could be doming somebody with their IR laser, and no one would ever see it. You can detect this with an eye exam, though, because on the back of the optic nerve, you can literally see the path of the laser beam. It's some pretty wicked stuff if you want to kind of go down to that rabbit hole. Very dangerous. IR lasers absolutely terrify me a lot of times. So again, that could be a reasonable explanation for it. Initially, when these guys showed up at the hospital, the doctors and the medical staff, based on testimony from the patients, so again, primary sources, the testimony from a primary source states that the medical facility treated them for chemical burns or some kind of CBRN threat, some kind of chemical weapon, right? I know it's kind of show and tell time today, but this, ladies and gentlemen, is an MSA SafeSight multi-threat detector. This bad boy is basically a networked chemical weapon monitor. Yes, it's legal to own. Every fire department in America has got one of these, probably several. Basically what it does is these sensors here detect a bunch of different things. It even has a sort of Geiger counter here on the side, a scintillation monitor, I think. And what it's meant to do is at big events like sporting events, you know, large gatherings of people where authorities are going to be concerned with, you know, malign actors doing some bad stuff, they could take a bunch of these and spread them out around the facility, and they can use this radio antenna here to talk to each other into a command post. Now, I just have the one here for demonstration purposes. However, if the Secret Service is doing their job, and if local authorities are doing their job, they would have had sensors in place to monitor for malign actors doing some pretty sneaky stuff. Okay, this is well known. This is very, very observably seen by everyone. So I don't know if the Secret Service had sensors out, and I don't know what they may have had that's not privy to the public, right? But I can guess that they probably did. Even if they had nothing more than a just standard military grade thing or something that, you know, every fire department in America's got. This is obviously an older version. There are much better ones that I can't afford. But honestly, if they're doing their job, they should have had this out there. They should have had sensors out. So again, that's probably a question to ask the Secret Service. Were there any anomalies detected as part of the chemical warfare agent monitoring process that is surely standard practice at pretty much every event? That would be a question to ask the Secret Service, because I don't have the answer for you. If the Secret Service was doing their job and everything is good, you can probably tell it probably wasn't a chemical, probably wasn't an aerosol or anything. Yeah, it's localized amongst these groups of people, and it involved problems, vision problems. So yeah, again, it does strongly indicate some sort of chemical targeting effort. However, I would have imagined, again, pure speculation, I would have imagined that any sensors they had deployed would have picked that up. So that's why my personal opinion, is that it was probably an IR laser. Was it an accident or was it intentional? I don't know. But good luck proving it. If there was a Secret Service agent or somebody in the crowd or some, you know, law enforcement authority who did not like Trump supporters and wanted to target them in a way that they literally could not be, you know, traced to them, this would be a way for the authorities to do it. Again, I would imagine that security at Trump events now would be a little bit a little bit concerned about one of these bad boys in somebody's pocket, if they found it, going through, considering that we know the problems that kind of arose from the Thomas Crook shooting in Butler. The guy was walking around with a rangefinder in his pocket. Highly suspect, right? This would probably be equally suspect. Why are you showing up with a PEC 15 at a Trump rally? Weird, huh? Yeah. So anyway, I would have imagined that this could be the culprit, but again, it's all pure speculation. So another thing to be concerned about for sure. So how concerned to be? I don't know. I just feel like there are not that many people trying to investigate these sorts of things, and I found it to be an interesting situation, so I thought I would mention it. Wrapping things up today with the Middle East. War in the Middle East appears to be escalating once again. These things kind of come and go, I guess. Regarding the events with Israeli targeting in Lebanon and the whole pager explosion thing, I will let the Wire reports that I wrote on this stand. I will not cover that in any further detail. Just because it gets really squirrely, you know what I mean? And I think that my very carefully worded Wire reports are probably a little bit more helpful than just me talking about it. So again, how likely is war to escalate into Lebanon? Probably very likely, but what will it look like? I don't know. I mean, Israeli troops are, arguably already in Lebanon to some degree. Limited border incursions of a few feet. That's technically inside Lebanon. How often does that happen? I don't know. Israel admits to doing patrols throughout, Lebanese, foothills and things like that all the time. So it's, hard to say. Hard to say. A full-blown invasion, though, might be a little bit hard to conceal. So we'll probably, if Israel has that planned, we will definitely see. On the Hezbollah front, we're probably not going to get a whole lot more fidelity on what actually happened for a couple of reasons. If a lot of people were killed, if a lot of Hezbollah agents or operatives or whatever, especially senior leadership, were killed, Hezbollah will probably tell us that. Hezbollah has a very, very substantial and very well put together mortuary affairs division. And you have to remember, due to their the sort of faith-based organization they have, what they call martyrdom, right? Being killed for their cause, right, is very much a positive thing for them. So unlike many other groups that you might see, they're not hesitant to say this person was killed in the line of duty, so to speak, right? Where this changes is senior leadership. Hezbollah would probably not be so quick to declare martyrdom of a top person, especially if Israel actually hurt them quite significantly. That also brings up another point: wounded. You probably won't see that many Hezbollah people admitting to being wounded by this, because that's a whole other dynamic entirely. But as far as the future of conflict in the Middle East, it'll probably escalate. As far as what Hezbollah will probably immediately do, probably rockets. That's basically all they can muster. Rockets and drones, I should mention. The Yemenis have been kind of mouthy down there in the southern Red Sea, but they're what, 2,000 miles away? It's kind of hard for. They could still launch cruise missiles and things, but by and large, not a whole lot of fidelity on it, and discussing the topic has become very, very dangerous for many involved, I'm sure. So we'll kind of just leave it there for now. Wrapping things up with the GhostNet reports for this week, I wanted to start off by expressing my extreme gratitude towards the guys over at T-Rex Arms, specifically Isaac at the new T-Rex Labs channel. He recently did a video yesterday talking about the most practical channels on YouTube for radio stuff, and I'm very, very thankful that my own work has been very helpful for a lot of people. So I am definitely not deserving of such high praise. However, I did want to mention it to you guys because Isaac laid out a lot of other channels as well, that if you're trying to get into radio stuff, you're trying to use radio more as a tool and more of a prepared citizenry environment, all of the other people that he mentioned, all of the other channels he mentioned in his video, I wholeheartedly endorse. So it's really great to see a community come together, and I'm very, very happy to fill just a very small part of what that may look like. Things are looking really good. I'm really glad to see so many people investing in becoming serious citizens, right? Becoming more prepared, trying to take their sort of existence and their role as a person in this country a little bit more seriously. So I really do appreciate that effort. The guys over at T-Rex have been doing some fantastic work on that front. I can't begin to emulate it for sure. This is actually a really good model for moving forward, because I think the guys over at T-Rex have been sort of leaders in this very, very interesting topic for a long time, being able to have a family-owned business and producing a lot of good, high-quality equipment, but also doing things like innovating things, looking at theoretical things, and branching out to be more of a dedicated citizen in today's world. That is outstanding. It's very hard to balance that, so I definitely appreciate all of the efforts on that front. So thank you guys again for the mention, and thank you more for your hard work. So concluding today with the GhostNet Reports, GhostNet has been doing fantastic. It's that time of year where things are pleasant. You don't have to worry about mosquitoes, to go outside and maybe work some radio stuff. Propagation's pretty good because the days are getting shorter, and we have a lot more favorable conditions for things like radio. So this is fantastic, seeing a lot more people out there working on radio stuff. And yeah, it's just doing great. Over the past couple of weeks, I've seen a lot of new people. So a lot of people saying, hey, it's the first time testing things out. That's fantastic. Keep doing that, guys. Like let people know, that that you're here, that you're, this is your first time you're learning, because I'm sure a lot of people would be very, very glad to see, even if you don't really have any questions or anything, I'm sure a lot of other people would say, hey, that's the first time this guy's transmitted. He's able to do it and get on the air for the first time, so maybe I should do the same thing too. So again, great stuff. Still working on version 1.5 of the plan. I know, I've been bad. I haven't finished that up just yet, but again, all will come in time. I'm still working on a few ideas, right? So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. There are the sources. Again, not a whole lot, but again, it's been kind of a long week. But again, I'm kind of strapped for time today, so I thought I would make it as short as possible. But in typical fashion, I've gone on longer than I planned to. So thank you all for putting up with me, and thank you all for all of your support, and we will see you next time. And as always, fight in the shade.